You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Monday, November 10th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Wow, what a weekend. A lot to get to here on a Monday with plenty of things going on in the world of sports since the last time we talked. Plenty of college football, NFL football, high school football, state champions, everything in between. So a lot to get to on today's show. First and foremost, if you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you for that. If you're watching us live, that's awesome. Make sure you're subscribed. If you have not subscribed, please do so ASAP. Also tell a friend or two or 10 or everyone you can about what we're doing each and every weekday. Talking a little sports and a whole bunch more every morning. It's been a lot of fun so far. Also, we want to thank you if you're watching us on X. We are live on X. X is always very, very good to us. And then if you missed the show and you want to check out the audio version, which we encourage, you can download the podcast anywhere you get your podcast, on any podcast platform, Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, Apple, you name it. Just put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo and you should see the show, more importantly, hear the show each and every day as well. As I mentioned, a lot to get to on today's show. I'm kind of slumming it today. Got the hat, the sweatshirt, all those kind of things. It's just a busy weekend, and I figured one of the beauty parts of not being in TV anymore is that I don't have to put on the suit and all those kind of things, comb the hair and everything. In fact, I noticed it this past weekend, and I didn't notice it till I was talking with Chris Hassel, a former, or a fellow, I should say, St. Ambrose alum. Obviously, Chris with CBS right now. He was at Kinnick Stadium, and he talked about, like, you know, the transition being out of the business and how long it had been. And I realized that Saturday was my last day at WQAD a year ago. So I've officially been out of the business for a year. So I figured let's slum it a little bit today and celebrate the reasons why I don't have to dress up and all those kind of things. So crazy to think that it's been a year since doing something different. We've been doing this for over 10 months, and it's been a bunch of fun. So thank you for everyone who's supporting the show, watching the show, all of those kind of things. Thank you to our viewers in Central Iowa. We welcome them each and every day. To you guys, it's evening, 7 o'clock there in Des Moines as well. So we welcome you guys as well. A lot to get to on today's show. As I mentioned, it was a busy sports weekend. It was a classic at Kinnick Stadium, one that did not go the way of the Iowa Hawkeyes. They fall in a heartbreaker, 18-16. We did a post show with Tom Kakert on Saturday. kind of breaking it down. We'll continue to do that in a matter of moments. Pat Anger, former Iowa middle linebacker, All-American, and of course the radio analyst, I should say, for the Hawkeye Football Radio Network will join us to talk about what went right, what went wrong in Kinnick Stadium, the atmosphere, credit to Oregon, all of those kind of things. The Ducks come into town. They beat the Hawkeyes 18-16, handing Iowa their third loss of the season, eliminating them from any hopes of a college football playoff. But you look at it, Iowa has lost to two really good teams, and then a solid team in Iowa State, but two top 5 teams in the country, and then Iowa State by 10 total points. So I know that doesn't make Iowa fans feel any better, but it's a good football team and one that has to regroup and get ready for USC. So Pat Anger will join us coming up in just a little bit. Also, last Thursday was a great day of volleyball for the MAC. Both Assumption and North Scott won state championships last Thursday. Coming up later in hour number 1, we'll focus on those 3A state champions and Assumption. Belle Cotton, Piper Hodge, and Emmy Burkhart will join us from Assumption and the state championship trophy, I'm told, to talk about their experience, their weekend, all that kind of stuff. Congratulations to Assumption. Hoping to get North Scott on the show coming up. They won a state championship in 4A. Hoping to have them later in the week, hopefully tomorrow as well. So a little volleyball talk later in hour number 1. In hour number 2, it was a great weekend of high school football. Over on the Illinois side, it was Geneseo, Monmouth Roseville, and Anawan Weathersfield all punching their ticket to the quarterfinals. And on Friday night in Iowa, it's Wilton heading back to the Dome for the second straight season. Last year, the Beavers went for the first time ever. Now they're going back, and the way they did it was amazing. Down 17-0 at the half, outscoring their opponent 21-0 in the second half. Number 2 ranked team in the state. They go there, they win, they come back, heading to the Dome. Ryan Hetzler will join the show in hour number 2, so make sure you join us for that as well. And then, of course, it was a crazy, crazy busy weekend in sports, and I always love to start my Mondays by doing a little sports radio and talking about everything that's gone on, which includes the Bears, my Lions winning and get back on track. Dan Campbell now taking the play calling role for the Lions. So Bears 6-3, as we mentioned, winning once again in dramatic fashion and beating another bad football team, but still winning a football game, which is all that matters. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about who's a better team, Iowa, Illinois, or Iowa State in college football. All have good reasons to be. All have good reasons not to be. When it comes to those 3, which one's the best? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the high school football and the weekend that was with John Marx coming up in just a little bit. So it is a busy, busy time in the world of sports. Also, congratulations to Rock Island Soccer. They take home a 4th place state trophy. We had Jonas Cortez on last week. They went to state, battled, lost 2 games, but really, really played well. And they had a fantastic history-making season. So hats off to Rock Island, a 4th place state finish for them. A lot of fun to watch and to see. So we'll talk more about Illinois this week. They got a game coming up this weekend after the bye week. And, of course, Iowa State went to TCU and knocked off TCU. The first week in a month that I don't pick them to win in the NESCAS contest. And of course they go on the road and maybe it was me, maybe I was messing with them the whole time. So more on that with Jake Brenda later in the week as well. But we start this week and mainly every week that we do with our good friend Pat Anger to talk about the Hawks and a whole bunch more. So we start our Mondays like we always like to with the one and only Pat Anger. A beautiful Monday here. Look behind you. It just looks like Iowa in the fall. You're so blessed.
It's great, man. I've got 1/17 of an acre back here. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
That's the American dream.
Yep.
It was a tough Saturday night for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Great effort. Really good football game. I put on social media today. It was a classic at Kinnick, which Iowa came up just short. Before we talk about the game itself and everything, it was a really good college football team between two good college football game between 2 really good college football teams, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Oregon's extremely well coached. Iowa's obviously very well coached, and both teams played extremely hard. And
Yeah, it was a fight. It was definitely a scrap from the beginning, and props too. I mean, the weather was terrible. Props to the Iowa fans for showing up, and they were into the game the whole game, and weather was absolutely not ideal. And the fans were there and they stuck around. You could tell. I mean, so we usually after we do the post game show, we leave and like there's no traffic, but there was a ton of traffic even by the time we got done. So props to Iowa fans for showing up, staying there, being in the game. They definitely made a difference. Even though the Oregon fans or the Oregon players went over there to talk trash about them after the game. The one thing that it was kind of similar. So like Missouri, we lost a heartbreaker, right? Their players are like talking crap to our players after the game, flipping them the bird, doing hand signals, all this stuff. And then, the Oregon game, afterwards, we just lost another heartbreaker. They go over to our fans and start talking crap. Well, in the background, our teammates or our Iowa football players are joining hands. They're swarming out together. They're together, heads held high. Fans are cheering. It's like, which programs would you want? Which team has better leaders? Which team do you want to be proud of? And obviously, when you see those situations, it makes you really proud that you're a Hawkeye and proud of that culture that Coach Ferentz created.
Well said. Pat Anger joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. You mentioned the weather and the fans. I had several text me like, hey, can we trade spots? And I said, yeah, let's go. Like, I think it would be great out there. I had some Oregon people from them up in the press box say to me, like, probably going to be some empty seats today, right? And I'm like, I don't think so. And there wasn't. Iowans just embrace that kind of stuff, don't they? They knew it was coming. The players knew it was coming. We talked all about it. They embraced it and showed up in a great way, didn't they?
Oh, 100%. And obviously never a doubt. Iowa fans are always extremely loyal. They're always there. They're always going to have your back. They're always going to fight for you. And just another example of them showing up for the squad.
It was another day where Iowa gets off to a bad start against a really good football team at home. And we kind of talked about it probably last week that, you just didn't want to see the interception or the turnover early. The first snap was a little funky on the punt, and Reese Dakin made a great play just to get it off. And then the second one, Iowa spots them 2 points. What did you see on that play? Was it weather? Was it because he was good after that? What was it about the beginning? Was it weather? What did you see from the booth?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can't really tell from up there, what's going on with the snap, really, essentially. I don't know. I'm assuming it was weather. Obviously, you can't have that, especially, in a spread punt. It's you don't necessarily even have to block it all, right? Your only job is to snap. So it was tough. Luckily, he was able to come back in some tough situations. That 58-yarder was able to get a good snap there. On that safety, great job by Reese. For kicking it out of bounds, kicking it out the end zone. That could have been 7 real easily. And, he had 4 guys breathing down his neck. And luckily he was able to get that out the back of the end zone, but not a great way to start. Obviously, you just can't do that.
Yeah, it's 2-0, then 9-0. And I had that same feeling against Penn State, maybe early third quarter when they went up 2 scores. And you're like, boy, you need it here, and they got it. And Mark Gronowski engineers a drive, hit some plays downfield. I think that was the nice part about this game offensively, and you're starting to see more of it, is he's starting to hit some shots downfield because of the fact that everyone's expecting to run and him to run and everything. Talk to me about that drive in the second quarter, gets Iowa to 10-7 and gets them right back in the football game. I felt that was a big moment in the first half.
Yeah, was that the one where we hit the wheel route to Gill? Was that drive?
Yep.
An absolutely beautiful throw, and in tough conditions as well. He put it in a perfect spot. And another great call by Tim Lester. He does such a good job of finding the gaps, and it's a super impressive Oregon defense. He was able to move the ball on him extremely well. But yeah, I felt like the play calls were great. I felt like the guys did a really good job blocking. I felt like we hit shots when we needed them. And I felt like, once again, when we needed big plays, Mark stepped up.
You got to credit Oregon because they rushed for like 1 million yards or something like that. They came and played Big Ten football. And I think we talked about it last week as well. A lot of people thought, high powered, throw the ball all around, those kind of things. They showed up and played Big Ten football. You got to credit them as well. People kept asking me, like, what was wrong with the Iowa defense? Well, there's really good guys on the other side too, and they've been doing that to teams all season, and Iowa just couldn't stop it for the majority of the game.
Yeah, they're tough, man. Their backs are phenomenal. Their linemen are huge, but also quick and athletic. They do a really good job of getting to the second level, and we struggle getting off blocks. But at the end of the day, what we give up 18 points, right? We give up 18 points. That's pretty impressive against that really great offense. I thought their quarterback it didn't put it in. It didn't use his legs very much, but when he did, like, it mattered. Made that great throw at the end. That was just, it was a perfect throw, absolutely perfect throw. And TJ Hall was in a great position. And yeah, they're a tough team, extremely tough. And that's the reason why they're a top 10 team and probably in title contention.
Yeah. That's the thing I think people kind of miss is that Iowa lost a close game and, they won. They're good. They have guys that are playing. Well, it used to be for a scholarship. Now it's for money. But They have guys showing up playing on Saturdays as well. It was, 15. I'm doing math in my head. 15-7. And Iowa never says die. And I guess we'll start with the long field goal from Drew Stevens. It's been an up and down season for him. For him to come out, I think it's a Kinnick Stadium record, 58-yard field goal, Iowa record, 58-yard field goal. Hats off to him. He's going to leave here with a lot of records, but to get Iowa within a score in this environment, in those conditions, Pat, that's hard. That's hard to do as a kicker, isn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah. With the rain and the cold and all that stuff, the ball flight's a lot different. It's interesting. Me and Dolph both kind of assumed we were going to punt the ball, and I think probably the majority of the people did. Even though we saw Drew come out there and just nailed that just kicked the crap out of that ball. That was so huge because it put us back in the game. We were down 8, and it's kind of like, all right, score, go for 2. But after that, it was like, okay, we got a shot, and that really it really gave the team some energy and momentum and was just so huge. Like, what a huge kick by him. One of the biggest, that I've seen in kick.
Yeah. No, and what it did is got him within one score. Iowa gets the ball back, 8:36 to go, and you kind of felt like there were a couple possessions left in the game, but you didn't know. They hit a big passing play on third down, get to midfield, kind of stalls out in the same area. I think it would have been a 58, 59 yard field goal with 5 minutes to go. And I was sitting there with Tom Caker thinking, do you kick a field goal here? Because you just made a 58-yarder. Do you do a 59-yarder? They go for it on fourth down, and they pick it up. I think at that point, with 5 minutes to go, a little less than 5 minutes to go, you had to realize this maybe was the drive. Talk about that decision, going for it, and then to get a big fourth down conversion and really get that place rocking a little bit.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, we were in that bunch formation. We were kind of split out, and I think they were playing man. And obviously, when you're playing man and you're in that bunch, and there's a lot of crossers and stuff, kind of gets a little bit tricky on the defensive guys. And it looked like it worked out perfectly to us. I want to say one of our receivers ran into Reese on that and actually kind of pushed him in the direction. And luckily, I think it confused the defenders, and he was wide open. Another huge play, great conversion. It's something this year that we haven't had in a long time. It's like you believe in the quarterback, you really do. You believe in him, and you know that he's gonna make us right, and he did there as well.
Yeah, and then they get down. Talk about the four. I want to do third and fourth down. I was surprised by the little pop pass try on third down. I thought they just tried to run the ball twice. And then, well, I guess we'll start with that one. Your thoughts on third down? Would you have ran it twice? Not that you're ever smarter than Tim Lester, Kirk Ferentz, those type of guys, but didn't work out well. Like the concept, but didn't work out great on third down.
Yeah, you think about it, everybody in the building thought they were going to run it up the middle, right?
Yeah,
including
true.
us. And so, hey, let's throw something different. And it worked. Tim Tebow made a lot of touchdowns running that. And obviously, Tim Tebow and Mark are very similar in how they play ball. And it just got a little muddy. I think they ended up tying up our tight end. We had a receiver release a little bit late, but just couldn't get to it. So that was tough. And then it was like, oh gosh, we're fourth down here. And, we're an empty. And a lot of the times that we're an empty, Mark seems to be running the ball. What they did there is they actually kept a linebacker in the box. Usually they'll be spread out, kept a linebacker in the box. And, he had no chance. And I think we heard that Coach Ferentz was going to call a timeout possibly there if they didn't get the right look from the defense, but they did. So they were probably a lot more confident once they got that look. And he walked in the end zone. Our right tackle just flushed their D end inside and was able to just run off tackle, and the linebacker had no chance.
Why does that work so well? Like everybody in the press box was like, this is a quarterback draw. I think like there was 70,000 going like Gronowski's going to run the football. Is it just a numbers thing? Kind of you just talked about where if you block like you're supposed to, it's going to work. It's going to work out.
Yeah, it's definitely numbers thing. And obviously from a defensive perspective, you have different checks, right? There's some checks you see us do quite a bit where we'll bring our linebackers and safety down and we'll blitz off the edge, right? But when you do that, then you're susceptible to a draw, to a run inside. So if you keep the linebacker in, well, then you're susceptible, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you've got an issue of the ball, of the runner coming to the outside. So it's just kind of like, if you're going to show this, well, we're going to do that. If you're going to show this, we're going to do that. So it's tricky, and it's, guys on the D-line got to make plays as well too. But luckily, when you're that close, I trust our quarterback.
Yeah, and it was a moment. Let's go through the 2-point conversion. I'm running because, I'm athletic, but I'm up in the press box, and I'm like, I wasn't going to go down there because it looks like I'm good. I'm good up, dry, warm, all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, all right, I'll get down there. So I'm hitting the elevator, and I see and hear the 2-point conversion be made, and I'm like, wow, that's huge. And then I get out of the elevator, and people are telling me it didn't happen. Your thoughts on what you saw? Did you hear about the towel thing? Where did you notice that? Did you see that? Have you seen that this weekend? The defensive back's towel went flying right into the path of the ball.
That's what happened?
Did you go watch the video? It's crazy. And not that I don't know if it affected it. I mean, he caught it. And then also, I don't think he did it on purpose because he was turned this way. It's not like he was like, oh no, and like, go watch the video. It's weird. I don't think it's funny too much.
It's funny you say that because there's a little trick that the D linemen do with a field goal in a big situation like that. They'll run up and they'll throw their towel to hit the ball. I mean, it's just, it's a little trick here and there that we like to do on defense because the offense gets all the rules catered to them. Yeah, man, obviously, it was really high. Thought he caught it. Obviously he caught it, thought he was in. And then, you see the replay and you're like, yeah, I don't think that's going to go our way.
Yeah. So obviously it would have been nice to have it. I felt confident with the defense, and you mentioned it, and I don't think they have anything to be ashamed of. Like a really good quarterback made a really good throw, and the coverage couldn't have been any better. That was a huge pass to get them into field goal range. But again, defense was great. I think Ferentz after the game said, I think it was TJ Hall was in perfect position. You got to tip your cap to the other guy sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, they got guys. And it was just I don't know if he could make that throw again. It was just so perfect. And it's kind of been unfortunate, for us, these tight games. It's just toward the end, the ball just hasn't bounced our way. And it just, for some reason, it just hasn't bounced our way. And, we played good enough to beat Indiana, played good enough to beat Oregon, played good enough to beat Iowa State. It's just, unfortunately, couldn't come up with the plays. And it's just another reason why, like, hey, you can't turn the ball over. You can't give them points, because every possession counts. But proud of the guys' fight. Absolutely. It's a really great group. They, they'll show up and play anybody really hard and they'll stick together. And, it's a team that, and I said this before, it's a team that us guys that used to play for Iowa are extremely proud of, and we're proud of what they represent. And, your heart breaks for them because, they deserve it. They deserve to get a big win like that. They deserve to feel what we felt when we beat, 3-ranked Penn State inside Kinnick, and the coaches deserve it. And the fans, they showed up and I wanted them to have that. I had a picture in my mind before the game with the fans storming the field after the game. And, we're right there. Yeah. So the good thing about this though, is that I know this group and I think they're going to, continue to stay together, continue to improve. And hey, we went out. It'll be a great season. We've got obviously a tough task, a tough challenge against USC this weekend. And, we'll go from there one game at a time.
I think there's a Pat Anger, by the way, joining us on Off There with Matt Randazzo.
Yes.
I think there's a
Don't
segment of the fan base that's just really quiet and waiting for Iowa to lose, and then they get really loud. And that's what kind of frustrates me sometimes. And I get it. I get the frustration. I get the fans. I get the after the game you want to win, you're heartbroken and you get frustrated. But again, the facts are the facts. This team is, and I know it doesn't make you feel any better, but they're 10 points from being perfect. And they're a weird it was just like, I mean, they're a weird snapped punt over the kicker's head from going to overtime. I mean, it's 2 points. They're a weird double bounce deflection against Iowa State from beating the Cyclones. I know that happened and you can't take it away, but it's just crazy, Pat, and frustrating how sometimes like a team loses a great game and it's all Kirk's done. Get rid of this, do this. Like, it's just frustrating that they're really close. This is a good football team. I had somebody tweet at me and say, like, I'm just going to flip to basketball. Season's over. I don't think they're going to win another game. And I'm like, are you watching the same thing I'm watching? Like, bottom line, I guess what I'm trying to say during my big ramble is this is a good football team, like a really good football team, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, did people think that we were going to, have a chance and really, really close game against Oregon at home, top 10 Oregon? What was it? 7 points against 2 top 10 teams. And, it's just the ball goes a different way and we win both those games. It is what it is. The one thing I do want to talk about is I want to talk about the whistle on Weegen's fumble. They blew the whistle when he was on his butt and he had the ball there. I wouldn't necessarily say he had possession, but he had the ball right there between his legs. Whistle was blown. And then they blew about 1 million whistles and Weegen stopped. And then they take the ball and they run off. If you blow a whistle, whatever happens after that whistle is blown doesn't matter. And if it's obviously it was inadvertent, but the ball wasn't in his possession, it wasn't in Oregon's possession. So that ball goes back to the offense. And I wonder when they watch these replays in the booth or when they're doing the replay stuff, do they have the sound on?
Yeah.
Because that should not have, and obviously it was a fumble. Oregon did recover. However, you blew the whistle. Play's dead. And we shouldn't have fumbled, whatever. But you blew the whistle. Play's dead. It's done. And we probably would have fought for the ball more if they wouldn't have blown the damn whistle.
That's my point is that, and I don't know, believe it or not, I know this will surprise you, but I've never played football at that level. I know it's weird, but I've never. So as a defensive guy or just a football player in general, when you hear a whistle, you ease up a little bit. That's what I looked at that replay and I'm like, how did Weegen not recover the football? It was like all over him. I mean, maybe you just grab it. I get it. But like you ease up once you hear a whistle, don't you? Or should you?
To be fair, when the ball's on the ground, you do whatever you can to pick it up because from a defensive perspective is you leave it up to the officials because officials are dumb. So you always want to pick the ball up and make them make a dumb decision. And most of the time they will.
And they did.
That was when I played, that was always my thing. Balls, if it's a forward pass, whatever, pick the ball up, make the officials mess it up because most of the time they're going to.
I get what you're saying. I agree. I thought the same thing when it happened, but I wish you wouldn't have brought it up because that's another like what if.
I was mad, dude. I was upset about that.
It was
it was a fumble.
Texted.
Yes, it was a fumble. Yes, it was recovered by Oregon, but you blew the whistle.
Yeah.
And when you blew the whistle, nobody had possession of it. It was in Weegen's, hands, and whatever happens after you blow the whistle, it doesn't count. Doesn't matter.
Man, you think of that. You think of the safety. I mean,
and that was worst case scenario. That was 3 points. Worst case scenario was 3 points.
You're supposed to make us feel better on a Monday.
I just think that needs to be addressed because that was just. And granted, there were some pass interference calls on them that I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, but that's different.
We got our calls. They got theirs, but that was a really huge one. That was one you can't mess up. When you blow the whistle, play's dead. The ball goes back to the offense.
Yeah, I agree. Let's quickly talk about USC. Then you got to go tackle the world. I think they're going to play great. Like you've been in these situations where you have a heartbreaking loss. What's the locker room like? What's the next couple days like? Because I believe that there's not a staff in the country that bounces back better than Kirk Ferentz and his staff. What's it like the next couple of days? Because there's a really good USC team waiting in California coming up this weekend on Saturday.
Well, you watch the film and that's always tough the next day. You watch the film and you just go through everything again. But then, you wake up Monday and you start the new opponent and it's next best thing. So what's our next best thing? Well, our next best thing is, hey, we got to beat USC. We've got a good challenge and a good opportunity ahead of us. And it's kind of nice once you get back into game week to just, all right, where our focus is on them. We're going to forget about what happened in the past. We're going to learn from it, move on. And have a good opportunity to get that bad taste out of your mouth. Obviously, locker room, you could tell when you're talking to the guys, it's, they're upset. They were down. And I get it, man. I've been the same way. It's a tough one. But I think, with the leadership they have on this team and obviously with the staff, they're going to get them back. They're going to get them rolling. And, we got to get that sour taste out of our mouth and let's head out west. And nobody thinks we can win out west ever. So, hey, let's go out there and prove everybody wrong. What a great challenge and opportunity.
Kent, you brought it up. The whole West Coast thing is stupid, isn't it? In my mind, it's dumb because it's not like we go play 3-4 games a year out in the West Coast, or even I don't even know the last time you played on the West Coast. And I talked to Kakert for our post show and he's like, I'm like, why doesn't the Holiday Bowl count? Well, that was a neutral field and blah, blah. Well, we kicked the crap out of USC in the Holiday. They were the home team basically.
Yep.
So isn't it overblown? It's not like, It's there, but it's not like they play 2-3 games a year there or every year there. It's like play a game 3-4 years, play another game. I think it's a stupid stat. Your thoughts?
No, I agree. I think most stats are stupid, but what's not stupid is Pat's stats. Pat's stats are amazing. Sponsored by Nicolay Law.
That's so well done. What's your travel plans to California? Do you and Corey take a private jet with Dolph and get there on Wednesday, sip drinks on the beach until Friday, and then call the game and come back? How's it go?
We'll head out there with the team on Friday and head back with the team on Saturday after we win. You
excited?
Yeah, obviously, looking at me I'm not a West Coast guy. I'm not a California guy, believe it or not. I love Iowa. I wish I could stay in Iowa forever.
Sunscreen on the head?
Yeah, honestly, I probably won't be outside very much, but no, I love Iowa. I wish every game was in Iowa, and but yeah, we'll go out there, we'll beat somebody up, and then we'll come back.
The worst part about warm weather when it's not here is being pale and fat. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying in general.
Here's the thing: tan fat's better than pale fat.
That's my whole point.
That's my take my shirt off.
Yep, my whole point is it's tan fat's better than pale fat. That's exactly what I was getting at. Can you quickly grab dog behind you? Because I have a feeling throughout this entire thing, everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, Pat's dog's adorable. What's his name? I know he's been on here before, but.
His name's Bo.
Bo?
He's a good boy.
Are you a good dog? Bo,
do you
go potty outside?
We took Avery to school today. He was really excited about that.
Hey, Bo, did you get to go in the car? No,
he hates the car. He hates the car, but
really?
we started taking Avery to school, and he really loves it. He's my good boy.
Real quick, is there anything you say to Bo that'll get him if I say you want to go in the car, my dog goes crazy, or Uncle Larry's here and he'll pop his head. Is there anything you can say that'll get a reaction from Bo?
Yeah, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to leave him for a couple hours here, and I feel terrible about it. But I will give him a bone after this.
Oh,
I'll give you a bone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A couple hours? How long do you work, Pat?
Well, I'll come back during lunch and I'll let him out, and then I'll head back to work.
All right.
Really hard.
That makes better sense. Hey, I always appreciate you spending time with us on a Monday. Bye, Bo. Appreciate you, bud. Bye. Hey, my two favorite dogs, Pat and Bo. See you, pal. Appreciate you. All right. That is Pat Angerer joining us. That's if you feel bad as an Iowa fan on Monday, just check out Bo. Bo should make you feel better. Iowa USC coming up this Saturday, 2:30 kick. here in obviously it's out there, but Central Time. We will have the Hawkeye Tailgate Show starting at 12:30 live from Big Grove Brewery. So if you're in Iowa City, it's a great place to go watch the game, and then also come stop by, say hi, enjoy the show as well, and we'll get you set for Iowa USC, a big game. And I know frustrations, and you look at this thing, and Iowa has 3 losses by 10 total points against 3 good teams, and 2 great teams when it comes to Oregon and Indiana. But I have a feeling Coach Ferentz will have them ready to go back against Michigan State the next week. And then, of course, a Black Friday showdown out at Nebraska. A lot of football still to be played for the Iowa Hawkeyes. We got more to get to. Coming up after the break, we're going to celebrate one of the 2 state volleyball championships that we had in our area last week. We will have a trio from the Assumption Volleyball team, the 3A state champions. That's next right here on Off the Air on a Monday. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off Day with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. It was a crazy weekend, but it's been a crazy month of November when it comes to sports here in the Quad Cities. Volleyball has officially wrapped up on the Iowa side of the river, and we have a pair of state champions to talk about. In 4A, it was North Scott winning another state championship, and at 3A, it was the Assumption Knights doing the same, claiming a state championship last Thursday afternoon. And joining me now to talk all about it is a trio of state champions from Assumption. That sounds pretty good. That's a good introduction, like state champions.
Yeah,
that works, right? From left to right, we got Belle Cotton, Piper Hodge, and Emmy Burkhart joining us this morning. And, of course, maybe the most important guest, the state championship trophy. Belle, I'll start with you before we get into the specifics. You're a state champion. I know you lost in the first round last year, or the first quarterfinals, I should say, last year. What's it mean to be sitting next to Mr. State Championship trophy right there?
I mean, it's insane. It's so cool that all our hard work has paid off, and it's just really cool to see how far we made it this year, like from last year.
Piper, we talked a few weeks ago about this being a possibility, to see it come to fruition, and not just that, but the journey that you ladies got to go on to get to it. What's this last couple weeks been like for you?
It's felt so surreal. It's crazy that it's already over, but I still can't believe that we did that, and it just hasn't sunk in yet, but it's been so fun.
Emmy, take me through the moment. Obviously, we're going to talk about the entire journey here in a second, but that last point and that celebration and to be able to kind of realize you're state champions. I know I did it for 25 years covering high school sports and especially girls sports. I know there was screaming. I know that. But besides the screaming, what was that moment like for you ladies?
Honestly, it was just that final sigh of relief that our job is finally finished. Our motto going into the season was #jobs not finished, and just to be able to Belle getting that final kill was just, like I said, a sigh of relief and just so much joy.
A lot of joy, a lot of celebrations, but Belle, she talked about it, maybe a little sigh of relief. The expectations were there. I don't think you ladies ever shied away from the expectations, but the relief is part of it because you guys put high expectations on yourself as well, didn't you?
Yes,
for sure.
So to accomplish that, what did it mean? That maybe just proving everyone right, including yourselves, that you guys were the best team in the state.
Yeah.
Let's go through the journey and we'll start when you get to Coralville, Belle. What kind of being used to it, and it's a program that's been there a lot. It's an awesome environment. What was that quarterfinal like, getting there and maybe just getting your feet wet a little bit this year and getting comfortable being in the big stage of a state volleyball tournament?
Right, there were a lot of nerves, and I looked to Piper and I was like, it's gonna be okay. It's not as scary as it looks. But just knowing after that first set of the quarterfinals and just knowing how well we worked together and played as a team, I was like, okay, I got a really good feeling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Piper, you guys lose one set the entire week. Kind of take me through yourself and getting comfortable at that level. And then maybe what's the difference between the quarterfinals and the state championship? Obviously it's the state championship game, but you had to feel more relaxed with the environment and they do a great job in Coralville. It is an awesome environment to be in. Talk about your week and getting comfortable in Coralville.
Like Belle said, she looked at me and kind of calmed me down. We calmed each other down. But I think after the first set, since it's my first time, I was fine. All my nerves shook out and I was just playing volleyball. It's definitely different from the championship. I feel like I was more relaxed in the championship just because I knew that I just had a good feeling and we had the pieces to do it. So, yeah.
Emmy, you guys hit the court running. We mentioned just dropping one set. It wasn't just a state championship. It was a pretty dominant state championship. Kind of talk about that because I know, and you guys were prepared for it with the schedule you've played and the tournaments you've played in. Talk about not just the championship, but the style you did it is pretty cool, pretty impressive.
Yeah. So we went into the championship. I would say all of us were expecting to play Western Christian, but I don't want to say it was a sigh of relief that we played Humboldt, but it was definitely something that we were better prepared for rather than Western Christian because we haven't played very many teams like them. But I feel like Kemper Catholic was a very good warm-up to Humboldt.
No, absolutely. Belle, you look at it going into the state championship, it was against Humboldt. What's that day? What's that preparation like? Because it's everybody who's going on that court that day is playing for a state championship. It's just a huge day of volleyball. What was your guys' mindset, maybe as a team, heading into that state championship match against Humboldt?
No, for sure. I guess like Emmy said, we were a little prepared to play Western Christian, so we had already watched film on them. But just knowing that it wasn't going to be them, we prepared by watching film, and we knew we could trust each other, and we had a good feeling, like we said. And yeah,
absolutely. Piper, I want to talk a little more about that schedule preparation and North Scott's a state champion, and you guys played them, and you played Pleasant Valley, who was there, and the tournaments you guys played in. You guys prepared this season not to win a MAC championship, although you tied for one, but the goal was to win a state championship. Did that pay off last week when you were playing really good teams from around the state, knowing that you've played really good teams from around the state and the country this entire season?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like just being those big tournaments, playing those big teams gave us a little bit more confidence, I feel like, and we were better prepared for the teams in our state just because of how much like talent is around the world and how much we played in the country. But yeah, I feel like it just helped us be prepared and yeah.
Emmy, you look at it too. The best of the best play there. Were you guys, obviously you win a state championship, you're celebrating. Do you guys cheer for the Pleasant Valleys and the North Scotts of the world when you get to Coralville, knowing that you're on the stage, same conference, kind of representing the same area? Getting 2 from this area is pretty cool. Your thoughts on cheering for the other teams around this area as well?
Yeah, absolutely. When we're there, obviously we're all competing for the same thing, the same title. So it also means a lot knowing that we're all in the same conference. So just wanting to cheer each other on. Obviously, when we're playing them, it's not that way. But when you're on that big stage, we all want the best for each other.
Absolutely. Joined now by a trio from the state champion Assumption Volleyball team. Belle, let's talk about what the Thursday into Friday into this weekend's been like for you ladies. I was joking with your coach. Did they make you guys go to school on Friday? And did you actually go?
No. They didn't make us, but we did it.
Oh, that's fair. I was joking. I texted with him. I'm like, there should be like a celebration Friday day off of school. What was it like to? And you guys probably wanted to go back to school. You got a state championship to talk about. What was Friday like? Thursday. Let's go Thursday night first, Belle. What was Thursday evening? What was the celebration? What did you guys do to celebrate that state championship?
We went home and we went to Jersey Grill and we celebrated with all our friends and family and had dinner and celebrated.
I love it. Paige, were you one? Piper, did I call you Paige again? I did that last time. Maybe I've done it already. Piper, when you were when you guys were you one of those? Did you guys all go to school on Friday?
No, none of us went to school on Friday.
We had a sleepover.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, but early in the morning on Friday, just like late morning, all our team meet up at Flips for breakfast and then kind of just chilled for the rest of the day, kind of took it easy.
I love it. I love it. You deserve it as well. Emmy, state champions, not just throughout the weekend, but for the rest of your life. But what was this weekend like? We just got through the Friday, but did you guys enjoy the weekend? And obviously, you guys go from practice, games, practice to maybe enjoying life a little bit. What was this weekend like for you guys, Emmy?
It was kind of a breath of fresh air. Not having practice, usually we would have practice on Sundays. It just was a nice reset weekend for me, having lots of free time to spend with my family and just relax.
I love it. What's the next sport? Are you guys do any extra sports or another sport, or are you guys all volleyball only?
Club volleyball starts in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Same here.
So you get 2 weeks to breathe a little bit before that starts up again. But we had some fun questions last time, and we talked superstitions and all that kind of stuff. How was this weekend? Were you guys able to stay loose? Was there a good story you could tell us about the weekend? Maybe off the court that does not get you in trouble. Don't look at each other, ladies. That does not get you in trouble. What was a fun story? What was your favorite part of the weekend? Maybe off the court, besides the state championship stuff.
I'm not sure if we had a great story. Like, I don't know. We just went to breakfast. That was my yeah. And our hotel stay.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
Monday night.
Yeah.
And we went and watched North Scott and PE.
That was really fun.
I love it. I like you guys are like me. Usually good times revolve around food. Unfortunately, you guys are athletes. Or fortunately for you guys are athletes. I'm not. So when my life revolves around food, that's a bad thing when it comes to the things over here. Piper, you're young. You get to do this again. Most of you guys. Emmy, are you a senior?
No, I'm a junior this year.
Okay, so you guys are all back next year. So let me start the hype train already. And Paige, I'll start with you. There's no reason that this isn't done again. I don't want to say you got to go win one next year, but how excited are you to know that this is a younger team that can continue to do good things in the future?
It's really exciting knowing that we have so much talent in our underclassmen as well. It just gives us that not knowledge. I mean, knowledge of knowing that we can do it again next year. So it's just like really cool that we have so much talent on our team.
Absolutely. Emmy, tell me about the future. Same thing. You're excited to I know that club volleyball comes along, but it's a talented program that's been there for a long time. It shouldn't change anytime soon, should it?
No, I think we always have a lot of talent coming into this school, like no matter what age. Like you said, we have a very young team, so I think that leads to a lot of greatness next season.
I would agree. Belle and all you guys, before I let you go, especially Belle, you got to win a state championship with your head coach being your dad. What was that? What was that moment like? What was that situation like? And that's got to be something you're going to remember for the rest of your life.
No, yeah, it was really special. I mean, it's like we looked at each other and it's like we did that. Like we've both been wanting that moment for so long. So to finally experience that together was so special.
Do you get to use this as like a get out of jail free card? Like in a couple weeks when you do something wrong, can you be like, sorry, Dad, I won a state championship?
Probably.
You have to. Keep that in your back pocket and be like, Dad, but remember, you're a state champion because of me. Yep, exactly. I want to talk to you both, the other two, about Coach, because it was a different coach this year. Piper, talk about Coach Cotton and what he meant to this program and to you ladies this year.
Coach Cotton means a lot to me. He's been my coach for about 5 years for club, so I've known him for a long time, and he's kind of like a second dad to me, so it was just so special that I got to do it with him as my coach. And playing with Belle as well for so long, it was just really cool to see that happen.
Absolutely. Coach Cotton doing a great job. Emmy, last one before we let you go. How long do you guys keep smiling? And I'm assuming it's going to be through today, tomorrow, the next day. This is something you're not going to stop celebrating anytime soon, is it?
Absolutely not. Yeah, like I said, we put so much work into this. So obviously just to like make it short, like we don't want to make the celebration time short. We just want to keep thinking about it.
I think you guys did a fantastic job. I'll take a little credit because I talked to Coach earlier in the year. I had you guys on a couple weeks ago, and then this. So this gives you the good luck moving into next year as well. So tell Coach Cotton I say congratulations again. Remember, Belle, you're a state champion, and so Dad can't get mad at you too bad. So remember, keep that in the back of your head. I appreciate it, ladies. Congratulations. Continue to celebrate it, and we'll talk to you. We'll do this again next year. How's that sound?
Yes.
We'll keep the video and we'll play this part right away, and then we'll fade into like the next state championship. You have 2 trophies, so make a little extra.
Yes, it'll be right there next
There you
time.
go. That works. See, Belle's already like making sure it fits and everything. I like that. That's a good thought process. So, ladies, get to school. Your weekend is over. Now you got to actually go back to classes. So, enjoy it. We'll talk to you guys again real soon. I appreciate it.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. That is the Assumption Volleyball team, a trio from the Assumption Volleyball team. They are state champions this morning. They're state champions all weekend. They're state champions for the rest of their life, which is really, really cool. And as we mentioned, it's a young, talented program. The future should be bright when it comes to Assumption Volleyball. But for right now, they're celebrating that state championship trophy they had sitting there with them as well. We got more to get to here on Off the Air. It's a busy Monday right here in the Quad Cities. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need mobile party experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile party experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today.
Give me the keys.
Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Everyone kind of taking a deep breath after the weekend that was, whether it was NFL, college football, high school football. We have 3 teams still from our viewing area here in the Quad Cities alive in Illinois, and 1 team heading to the Unidome in Iowa, and it's a familiar face for the second straight season. Wilton is heading back to the Unidome, and boy, it wasn't easy. We're joined now by the head coach of the Beavers, Ryan Hetzler. First and foremost, my friend, congratulations. I know Friday night was thrilling, exhilarating, all those things. To be going back to state and to the Dome for the second straight season, what was that like on Friday night?
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt, dramatic fashion is probably an understatement of what happened on Friday night. But, yeah, we got down to a 17-0 hole right away in a quarter and a half. And, I think a lot of people and even our kids at times in that first half probably questioned themselves. But we went in the locker room, we had a conversation and just said, you know what, at this point, the only thing we can do is, fix the wrongs that we made in the first half. And I think we can play with them. And our guys came out and held the number 1 offense in Class 2A to 0 points in the second half. And then we put 21 up ourselves. So it was really a gutsy effort on our kids' part, and it was awesome to see them overcome that obstacle. And at that level, last year was the first time our program's ever made it to the Dome. And now in year 2, I don't think many people probably would have given us a whole lot of hope to do that again. We lost 18 seniors last year. A lot of those guys were 3-year starters. And now we have a whole new fresh face of guys, and it's just awesome to see them overcome all those obstacles along the way.
Coach, you mentioned it, and just to put things in perspective, you're on the road at the number 2 ranked team in the state, and you're down 17-0. If a team, I don't want to say folds up shop and goes, but if they're down on themselves, it's understandable. That's a tall task when it's 0-0 to start the game, more or less 17-0 at halftime. I gotta ask, was it the Newt Rockney? Like, what was the halftime speech? I've had dumb youth basketball games where we played well in the second half, and I take credit because of the halftime speech. What was said in the locker room? Was there anything different? Kind of talk about that halftime, period where you guys had a chance to kind of regroup.
Well, I'll tell you, every team is different, from year to year. And as we were talking as coaches, our ultimate goal was to not display any sort of panic. Understand that we did have a couple things working in the beginning, and that we just had to fix a couple things here and there. And I got a lot of people that asked, well, you made all these halftime adjustments. We didn't make these crazy halftime adjustments. Listen, we schemed all week. We adjusted things here and there just by inches, right, on our defense and a couple changes on offense. But we went in the locker room, and kids will be kids, but that's the resiliency of this team, I think, is they're not getting down on themselves. They're not screaming. They're not yelling. They're not panicking. We walked in as a staff and had a good conversation about, listen, we can go one of two ways in the second half. And if you want to step up and play football, I think we have an opportunity to make things happen. And who'd ever know? You just never know. And our kids came right out of half and didn't miss a beat, and probably played the best football they've played for a half all season long. And when they needed it most against the toughest opponent that we've seen all year, just really proud of what they were able to overcome in that moment. Because like I said, as kids, we know how quickly that can turn. And they did a fantastic job of holding that together.
Ryan Hetzler joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coach, you can say it at halftime, but with these kids and even us old people, seeing is believing. When did they was there a point they bought in the second half? Like obviously they bought in at halftime, but obviously getting points and stops and all those kind of things. Was there a point during the third quarter, fourth quarter where you could tell your guys were 100% bought in on what was going on?
Well, I'll tell you, we came out and we drove down the field, but we had to punt because of a penalty held us back. But then that's the first time they had gotten the ball back in the second half. In the first half, we really struggled to stop their offense. And they came out, we went 3-and-out, and actually moved them backwards for the first time in the game. And it was that moment, I thought, that drive where our kids came off and they showed true excitement to be right back in there. And they came running off and talked about how they believed they could play with them. And you knew from that point on, and it was the very next drive on offense, we got the ball, went all the way down to the score. So we got points on the board. So now you have some things rolling, right? You stopped them on defense in a 3-and-out for the first time in the game. Went down and drove, 60 yards down the field. And we did it in a very physical fashion, right? It was mostly run to get us down there. And, we controlled the line of scrimmage for the first time on both sides of the ball. And our kids came off the field and they were just ready to go. At that point, we were down 2 scores. And really from that point on, they struggled. They didn't get past the 50-yard line again until the very end of the game on the final drive. And like I said, it wasn't some crazy adjustment. Our kids just buckled up and they did exactly what we worked on all week long. And that was just really exciting to see for them.
You guys put in a lot of time, and it's before the season, during the season, late at night, early in the mornings. Take me through that moment when maybe the Beavers take the lead for the first time, or even when the clock shows zeros. That's a second straight year you've gotten to celebrate going to the Unidome. First, I guess that taking the lead moment, what was that like?
Well, I'll tell you what, we had the ball with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. We had to drive 65 yards down the field. We still had all of our timeouts, and we talked to the offense before, and it's something that we work on every single Thursday is our 2-minute drill. And we talk about scenarios, situations, and plays that we're going to go to. And, we moved right down the field. We got to a 4th and 3, and we had to make a decision. And, and really at that time, our run game was really good at the time, and then they started to stop us there towards the end of that drive. So we knew that we had to go back to the passing game. And we used Briar Putman, who is a major weapon. He's a 6'5", guy who can run, catch, jump, and do all those things. And we knew we had a matchup that we really liked with Briar. And this is coming off Gunnar Edwards, our quarterback. Gunnar had thrown 3 picks in the game, and he continued just to stay confident in his abilities. And in 4th and 3, in the season on the line, we go to Gunnar and Briar in that situation, and 100% trust in those guys. And then Briar goes off to score a 30-yard touchdown on that. But even bigger yet, Briar's our kicker, and we haven't kicked an extra point since before our district play started. We just weren't very consistent. Well, we've continued to work on it, and Briar kicked the extra point that actually put us up by 4. And PCM has a fantastic field goal kicker, so we knew that we needed to make it more than 3 points. So we got that this first time in 7 weeks that we've kicked an extra point, but it worked out really well. And then the final minute and 23 seconds was the longest minute and 23 seconds that we've ever gone through that thing. They were kind of going down the field. We had them in 2 different 4th down and 3 situations, and we couldn't get off the field. And it wasn't until about 25 seconds left, the quarterback scrambled out. He throws to the end zone, and Briar Putman is the one who sealed the deal with the interception in the end zone. And then victory formation, and then it was time to celebrate. So it was crazy. We had a great turnout from Wilton people down 2 hours away in Monroe, Iowa. And they were just going absolutely crazy. And I got videos sent of our 2 local, places to eat in town. They all had it on the TV back there. And it was really cool to see that many community members just go get that excited about our high school team and what our kids are doing.
The aftermath, what do you tell those kids? And obviously every kid in the state of Iowa wants to hear they're going to the Dome. And I know they went last year, and there's some guys back, but there's some guys that left, and there's guys in new places, and it's a different team. We've talked about it already this season. I believe you're like a 3-time guest here on OTA, which is pretty prestigious place to be. So what was it like to let those guys celebrate something? I know it's 2 years in a row, but each one is different. Each one's special.
It really is, and it goes back from team to team. And, last year we had a heavy senior class. This year we have 9 seniors and a good mix of juniors. But, to understand that they knew what they were losing last year too, and I think they always play with a chip on their shoulder because they knew where they were a good team, but I don't think that we got quite the credit that they probably deserved in the beginning just because of everything we lost. So we were never in the rankings until the very last season of last regular season. And we finished number 10 in the Iowa High School Athletic Association poll. And then I think our guys just kind of always carried that chip on that shoulder, and, they knew they were a good team. They wanted to prove that to people. They're not flashy. They're not loud. They just continue to go to work week in and week out. And to have that, to have that moment with them and understanding that this is your team. Last year's team was last year, and that's fantastic, but this is you, and this is who we are right now. Like you said, did we do it last year? Yes, we did. But that doesn't change the feeling, of the hard work that this team did through the summer, through the preseason, all the way through the regular season. It's just really special to share that with a group of guys who have bought in really since the time they got here as freshmen. And, I don't think many people would have said at the beginning of the year that this team was a dome team, but it's just awesome to see them overcome all that stuff and watch our community support them the way they do.
No, it was cool to see the videos. There's videos on social media of you guys getting back home and all those kind of things. It was a pretty special community. We've talked about that this year as well. Congratulations, you beat number 2. Here's number 1. That's what's to come Saturday at 1:00. You guys take on Kemper Catholic. I know that, yes, you have to let these guys enjoy it, but here we are getting ready to start the new week. Looking ahead to Kemper Catholic, number 1 ranked team in the state. What do you see from them? And obviously, anytime you're going to the Unidome, you're gonna play a really good football team.
Right. Kemper Catholic has been the number 1 rated team since day one. They're undefeated. They've been the heavy favorite in this class for all season. And, the thing that I told our guys and the thing that I like about them is that they never get too high and they never get too low. So, we're coming off a really big win, but I think by the time we were back home and we had some time to think about it on the 2-hour ride home, I think they're ready to get to work. And they knew what was ahead of them. They knew that we would be the lowest seed going into the Dome like we were last year. So they knew who the opponent was going to be. And I really think they're up for that challenge. And, they were already talking about Kemper Catholic on the way home about just being excited for that opportunity yet again to play football for one more week that is guaranteed. And, listen, if you took everything on paper, we'd be done a long time ago. But here we are, 4 teams left in 2A. So anytime you touch that field, you have an opportunity to win. And I think those kids believe in that, and I sure do. So we're just excited to get up there and give it another shot again this year.
Coach, you look at it, and you were there last year, and the community was rallying around it and all those kind of things. Yes, it's always a big stage. I'm sure there's going to be some nerves with some newer kids, but you as a program have been there before. Do you feel like it'll be a little different this year just because last year there was the newness of it, the first time of it, and the history making of it? Do you hope maybe that there's a little more comfort going up there to that big stage this year?
Yeah, and I really think there will be, Matt, to be real honest. I think playing there last year is going to really help. Even some of those guys who maybe didn't play but were on the sideline for us last year, understanding what that environment looks like, feels like, sounds like. It's really tough to put in words until you're there. We had guys that were really nervous. We were also, I think, like you said, the community sport is great. However, you got to keep focused throughout the week. Last year, I feel like there were so many things going on every single night that I think we lost track of the intent of the week. And our kids got up there, and it was exciting and it was great, but we just didn't play, I feel like, the way we could have. And there's a lot of things that go in that. But I think this team, we talked about before we left. Last year we got a charter bus on the way up. This year we're riding the old Bluebird bus. Like that the kids want to do that. They don't want to change what we do or how we do things. So practice stays the same. We're not doing anything crazy. We're doing a pep rally on a Thursday night for our community. But other than that, we're preparing to play another football game. And that's what it is. And I think that's what's really important for our guys. And again, like I said, they don't get too high and they don't get too low. And I know they're just excited to get up there and play.
Coach, before I let you go, I got to ask you, you mentioned you had a, what is it, a 3 or 2 hour bus ride back to Wilton. What was that bus ride like? I'm sure it probably settled down a little bit towards the beginning. I've been around, high school kids, especially fired up ones. What was that bus ride like coming back to Wilton? Had to be fantastic. Had to be loud.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'll tell you, if you are familiar with Interstate 80, you take the Newton exit, the second Newton exit, and you head down about 30 minutes. That first 30 minutes was extremely loud on our bus. Kids were standing up, they were moving around, they were excited, they were on their phones and just having a good time. Once we got to Newton, we actually stopped at McDonald's for them, and we ordered like 80 cheeseburgers, 80 McChickens. So they got that, and they calmed down after they ate, and then they all laid back. It's funny. They bring blankets, they bring pillows, and they lay down and they just go to sleep. So the first 30 minutes was complete excitement, and still carried over from the game. I think they were excited to be in somewhere warm. It was extremely cold on Friday evening. So just a great group, and like I said, the camaraderie between them is just awesome. And watching those guys find a way to come together and win, and then celebrate. Right, that's always part of the fun. And we talked about Kirk Ferentz a little bit earlier, but I've always heard Kirk Ferentz win or say, never underestimate the power of a win, right? Like never take for granted what that win means at any level, at any week, whether it's playoffs, whether it's regular season. Celebrate the wins because you never know how many you have or what you're going to get. And it was just awesome. And there's a way to celebrate those, and our guys did that properly and the way they should have. But it's just fun to be a part of a fun group like those guys.
Before I let you go, you've talked about the community other times we've talked, and I know you love it. I know it's been special to you. It's a special community. What's it like to do it for your home community? And not that you did it, but you guys and representing it in the Beavers. And I can't fathom what that town is like right now. And it's going to be that way all week. What's it like? Mm-hmm. What's it mean to you to be able to do this for your community?
It's really special, Matt. I always tell the story that when we were kids, I had one of our best friends that we grew up playing football with. His dad, who owns a business here in town, would always take our group up to the Unidome, and he would let us stay overnight. So we went and watched all Friday, stayed overnight, watched all Saturday. So it was always our dream as kids to make it to the Dome, and we came up short as players here when I was here. And then to be able to come back as the head coach and help lead that first team there, and now to do it again, it's a really special feeling, Matt. And there's so many kids that we've had that have shared that dream to get to the Dome and play in that special place. And it's so fun to get some of those kids that I've now coached or former guys that I played with or whatever else in our program reach back out and just tell us how excited they are for our kids to actually get that opportunity. Because like I said, it's a dream shared by so many, and it's extremely tough to get to this point. And, it takes a lot of things, but just understanding how important it is, and how big this moment is for our kids, and knowing that our community knows that is just a lot of fun. Because like I said, a dream shared by many here, that we've got to now experience 2 years in a row.
No, it's fantastic to watch. We're super excited for you. Keep shocking the world. Don't tell anybody. Don't just keep it. We'll keep it our secret. The Beavers are pretty good. They knock off number 2 PCM on Friday in ridiculous. I feel like if you had hair, Coach, it would be grayer today. Is that fair to say?
You know what? That is very, very true. I actually saw some of the boys today, and they, it's bleach hair or buzzed hair. So I said, enjoy it while you got it, because, I never thought I was going to lose my hair until becoming a head coach. But I think even in my beard is a little bit whiter today than what it was on Friday. So I told them, I said, you're cardiac kids. And sometimes I'm worried that I'm going to have a heart attack right there on the sideline. It's something else. But, yeah, just an awesome group to be around.
They say to be the best, you got to beat the best, and you got number 2. Go get number 1, and we'll do this again next week. How does that sound?
That sounds great, Matt. I appreciate it.
All right. I appreciate you, my friend. That is Ryan Hetzler, the head coach at Wilton, the Beavers, heading back to the Unidome. They had such a good time last year. They said, why not? Let's do it again. So really fun to see. As we mentioned, they'll play in the semifinals Saturday, 1 p.m. against Kemper Catholic. And, of course, we'll get Coach back up here next week, talk about a state championship game maybe as well. So we got much more to get to. It's a super busy Monday here on OTA. We'll be back right after this.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. It was a busy weekend with everything going on. And, I always need my Mondays to decompress a little bit and kind of figure it all out. Plus, I loved sports radio and I just want to talk about sports. So joining me now, like he always does every Monday, John Marx for a little Marxy Monday. First and foremost, happy Monday. Your traveling crazy weekends are coming to an end, my friend. Like it's the light at the end of the tunnel is getting there. And especially, hey,
Two more.
You know what? Nowadays, the way traveling is, it might not be a bad thing. Yeah. It's not easy, is it?
2 more left, and then it's finally again. You know the story, and I won't share with everybody, but you understand the story. You understand the mission all these years. You know the good, you know the bad, and there's been both. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful ride. And again, I'll go back and tell you that the Georgia fans, and we'll leave it at this: Iowa fans, nobody better. Illinois fans getting there. Georgia football fans are the best in the country. As somebody who's been there, I had 90,000 scream at my son, and Mississippi State fans are literally, and I swear, the worst. And you can take those cowbells and put them where the sun don't shine. So Iowa fans, God bless you. Illinois fans, great people. Been to both. Georgia. Matt, I told you, I walked out of the stadium. I walked in. They helped me get to where I had to go. With a problem with the downloaded ticket, the parent entrance. After the game, Matt, I got turned around. They gave me a parking spot 15 feet from the TV entrance with all the announcers, and I got turned around, and I had some international student walk me to my car.
Yeah.
So that's, again, yes, it's all coming to an end. Grateful. There's another chapter, but thank you for saying that. Iowa fans, don't change. Keep being cool.
I think we'll start there. I was thinking maybe go NFL, college, then high school. I want to go college. We'll do NFL last, but I want to do college because we had Pat Anger on at the beginning of the show, as we always do on a Monday. It's a disappointing Monday right now for Iowa fans. It kind of feels similar to like Illinois fans maybe a couple weeks ago when they lost at Washington, and that chapter of this college football dream, college football playoff dream is done. But, and I'm not saying that, and we're going to talk about Illinois here in a second, but the way it's happened for Iowa, I think, is different than Illinois because, yes, Illinois lost to 3 really good teams. They weren't close in those games. Iowa lost to 3 really good teams, including 2 of the top probably 5 in the country, and they're a total of 10 points away. Does that make it harder for Iowa fans because of the fact that they were really, really close to having this thing be something really, really special?
Yeah, it really does, Matt. It makes it hard because you walk out of that stadium saying ifs and buts, and of course, candy and nuts and every day be Christmas. But you'd rather, and this is the epitome of a Coach Ferentz football team, and you know how the respect I have for him. You love the fact that you win 17-16 or 18-16. You loathe the fact that you lose 18-16 or 18. That's his kind of football. You know that. He plays field position. He's conservative. You can go back to the way, if you don't like it, you can go back to the way things used to be, folks, before Coach Fry. So Coach Ferentz, phenomenal. He coached his rear end off. They all did. The kids played hard. Nasty night. You know it. You were there. But give Oregon credit. Yes, those kind of wins, yeah, you feel okay, but you still didn't win. And the other part of it is, Matt, you have to go to USC this weekend, and it gets nothing. And the time change and the travel, it messes the kids. It really does. It messes up the world. I know they're athletes. I know they're being paid. I appreciate that. But you're messing with something that just doesn't work for them. And, they beat I watched USC Friday night. They beat a really good Northwestern team. So it's not going to get any easier. And you immediately have to get people healthy and get right back in the swing of thing. And this is probably, you want to put your arm around everybody and say, great job, we didn't win. Well, you didn't win. There's the bottom line. And here's where you'll find a good coaching staff will not, and I repeat, not baby and say, that was a moral victory on Saturday against a really good football team. No, I'm sure yesterday when they brought everybody in, they put the hammer down. I don't know if today's their day off or not, but they will not, a good football program like Iowa and Illinois, et cetera, will not, and I repeat, not go easy on their young people. This might be the toughest week of prep for them, just to be demanding and not allowing athletes to take that step back, because we all relax. Hey, that's a hell of a football game. Didn't win. Should have won. But we move on.
Yeah. You look at it, Johnny, and I think it's not one of those things where Iowa fans can go, man, we played so good. It just wasn't quite enough. And we just came up short.
You played great.
That's the problem. I think they made too many big mistakes, and you can't do that in those big games. And you can go back to Indiana. It's the same thing. The interceptions and the allowing 3 points towards the end of the half. And, this game, the fumble and the snapped punt, all that kind of stuff. It was one of those things where you can't do those things and win against really good teams. I'll say this. I was impressed with Oregon because all week it was they can't play this type of football, this type of weather. If anybody hasn't watched Oregon, they run the football at an extremely high level. That's what they did against Iowa, and they won the football game. I do think they'll bounce back and play well against USC. I just don't know if it's going to be a really tough challenge. It's more of a mental thing than a physical thing. Yeah, they have their bumps and bruises and all those kind of things, but it's figuring out a way to move on when everybody was talking for the last 2 weeks about a playoff, about a playoff instead of now regrouping and figuring out what's ahead. I think that staff does a really good job at doing it. I'm not that worried about that. Illinois was on a bye week. They win. Or they're back. They should win out. We'll talk about that in a second. Iowa State, who had lost 4 straight, goes on the road and beats TCU. So my question for you is, right now, who's got the best football team in our little trio of college football teams that we talk about and cover? Is Iowa, Illinois, or Iowa State the best of those 3 teams right now?
Healthy, I believe Illinois. And because of its offensive, because of its ability to do some things offensively, again, taking nothing away. Take that one step further, and I believe that it's Illinois in that grouping. Iowa State overcame some mistake and won in a really tough house. And give that's just Matt Campbell. Come on, give the guy up top a little credit. If in fact this is his final, I still think the world comes calling. The other part of it is Illinois, I think, has a little more offensive explosion than Iowa. Gronowski's just a dude. Give him credit for that. But Altmaier is pretty gifted as well. I think right now they are the 9-3 football team and finish out that way. I think Iowa can easily win out and be 9-3. 8-4, that's going to be a disappointment to me from the way they played good football teams close. If they don't go to USC and win, I think they're in trouble. It could end up being 7-5, Matt, if they don't get it right. But right now, of that group, and again, no disrespect to either club, I think Illinois. And I'd like to go back 1 second. Dan Lanning reminds me a lot of Kirk Ferentz, and no hat, no nothing, gloves, the rain not bothering him, saying let's play, not going to back off. And to that skill set that they have, the elite athletes on the edge, and I know they were banged up, they beat Iowa's defensive front up. They blocked their backsides off, man. They run for 260, somewhere in that area. That's phenomenal, especially against that group. That those 3 and 5 techniques for Iowa and the linebackers. My goodness,
they played Big Ten football and they did it in a high way.
Yes.
We're gonna put that up. I'll put that on Twitter right now. Which of the three are better? I will argue with you and say that Iowa is the best of those 3 teams, and people are gonna sit there and go, "Of course you're gonna," and that's fine. I'll wear that, and that's okay. But the body of work for Iowa, my God, like they barely you can't take 63-10 away from me. Illinois fans, you just can't do that. And yes, they probably have the best win out of any of those 3, beating USC at home, but they have the worst losses, I think. I shouldn't say worst losses, but I just wish they were closer. And this is taking nothing away from Illinois, but eyeball test, watching Iowa play against Indiana and watching them play against Oregon and those teams, and then watching Illinois play against the upper echelon teams, like Iowa's playing till the very end and losing in the last seconds, and Illinois, you're wondering what's next week when it's the third quarter. So I just think because of that, and yes, the best win for all of them was USC, and Iowa's got a tall task because they don't get USC at Kinnick. They got to go out to USC and play that football game. So, and then of course Iowa State fans can yell at me and say, why is this a conversation? Iowa State beat Iowa. So I get that, but I'm saying now, I think if those 2 teams played now, it would be a much different game. And again, like the crazy bounces and all that kind of stuff. So it's a fascinating discussion. We'll put it out to the, if you want to chime in on the comments as well, it's there. But I think eyeball test wise, I think Iowa's a really good football team. I really do. And I think it'll be a year of what ifs and all those kind of things. You'll look back at 2025 and be like, that was a really good football team. They were so close. What if they didn't snap the ball over their head? Or what if they didn't,
I can't address that.
I know. I'm trying to keep on popping it in there without like letting you do it. It's like a dog that can't go outside that wants to go outside. But that's the way I look at it. College football-wise, I think Illinois finishes the season 9-3. I think Iowa probably finishes the season 8-4, if not 9-3. I know this week is very dependent on that, but I love them going to Nebraska without Nebraska's guy. I love them at home against Michigan State. So this is the toughest game they have left. And again, I always buy into, just like I did with Illinois. Illinois bounces back because of Brett Bielema. So every time they've lost a game, they bounce back because of Brett Bielema. Good coaching staffs do that. I think they'll bounce back and be okay. Speaking of good coaching staffs, the Bears won again in the weirdest, craziest way. They beat another bad football team at the very end in New York. They did it at home. Are you more encouraged by the Bears on a Monday morning, or are you more concerned with the Bears on a Monday morning? And you're a Bears fan. You're a Bears fan.
Yeah, a Bears fan. And you had to, if Jackson Dart is still in that football game, the Giants win.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson steps slow. Never been a fan. Don't like him as a person. Arrogant, pompous, too good for himself. That's personal. Jackson Dart is a dude. If he doesn't get concussed, I think with him having his hands in the football and him being that double-pronged attack quarterback, I don't think the Bears get the ball back and win. Thank God, wind and a bad punter. Don't blame the wind, don't blame the op, because Casey Kreider threw a dime back there and he just missed it. So we'll give Casey Kreider props while we're picking on long snappers today.
Yeah,
but to that, absolutely. And to that, though, again, bit lucky. But in the NFL, Matt, and I know this is cliche, they won. The Dolphins kicked the snot out of the Bills. The Bears won. Okay? Take that however you want to look at it in the NFL. Every Sunday is not a gimme.
Yep. And you can't, Bears fans shouldn't apologize for anything. And it's kind of the same thing I've said all year. They're winning games they probably didn't win last year. Now, the problem that I think big picture wise is they're barely beating teams that aren't very good. And that when they start playing better teams, I don't know what it'll look like. And that's all to be seen. Caleb Williams makes plays late in that game, looked great in the last 2 drives, last 6 minutes of the game, looks like a first round or a number 1 overall pick. But why in the world did you have 10 points against the Giants halfway through the fourth quarter? That's the disconnect of it isn't right there. That's where I think the Bears have to fix a few things. Now, with that being said, they go to Minnesota next week in a game that they have all the motivation to go in there and win, and Minnesota needs desperately. That's going to be I think the loser of that game, I don't mean that in a negative way to the Bears because they only be 6-4, but I mean, Minnesota's desperate. They need to win that football game next week. I think it'll be interesting as well, but I don't know. And again, everybody's going to say you hate the Bears, all that kind of stuff. You win, it's a win, take it and go. But I think Bears fans themselves, and I got plenty of text messages, were like, how did we do this again? Like they snatched victory from the jaws of defeat against Cincinnati, and then they did it again last week. And hey, I'm the first person to bash Caleb Williams, or I don't want to say bash, but doubt Caleb Williams. Give him credit. He made big plays. And that's what you want from your quarterback. So all these times I said, show it to me. Hey, fourth quarter, he showed it to me. Maybe some big plays, big throws, and they won a football game. So step in the right direction winning-wise, but I don't think – so my question for you, John Marx, are the Bears – we ask this every week – are the Bears a playoff team yet? Because in the NFC, you look at it, it's pretty set. There's 4 teams for like 3 spots right now. Everybody else is securely in or securely out just because of the divisions they're in and all that kind of stuff. It's basically the Packers, Lions, Niners, and Bears for 3 spots. And I'll make it even simpler. It's probably going to be the Bears and Niners for 1 spot, in my opinion, and they play late this season. Your thoughts, are the Bears a playoff team?
No. And the fact that Brock Purdy will be back, I believe, next week, it plays a huge role in all of that. He is certainly an elite quarterback. He just needs to maintain his health. Matty, to your point, if the Bears were a playoff team, they would not have gone. They scored in drive number 2 yesterday, correct? And I think they went the next 13 drive. Come on. Ben Johnson is an offensive genius. It just, again, do what you have to do. Complete the drives, do your job, score. You should have scored 40 points. With the game plan that they had. And I know DJ Moore got hurt, but Luther Burden is I think a superstar in the waiting. He and this is from Jackson Marx. It's the best athlete he ever played against. He goes, Dad, we were all just running around and Luther was in a league all to his own. And so take that a step further. He needs to get the football a little more. You got a Dunze back in that, but you were average running the football again. And I know your dude, he got back. He was healthy. Again, DeAndre Swift, you have to count on him. I won't. But I think the 49ers are more of a playoff team than the Bears, just by pedigree alone.
I'm looking at it because I think I saw it, but I want to make sure
you saw the schedule.
No, I kind of wanted to go through a schedule with you, and I might here in a second. But did the Giants fire Dable after the game or no?
Not that I saw.
Not that I saw some tweets.
The ice is thinning.
Yeah, no, I think so. I'm going to put in the beauty of live radio. I'm going to live shows, whatever this is. I'm going to put in their schedule. I want you to give me a win-loss as we go through a Bears schedule real fast, because they are 6-3. I thought going into this, I'm pretty sure they have one more, in my opinion, layup, but we'll see. So, but the next two are winnable, in my opinion. I don't know if they do. At Minnesota, win or loss?
Yes, they can win.
But do they?
No.
Okay, so we'll go win-loss with you. So loss. So that puts them at 6-4. They go back to Chicago and they host Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers.
Loss.
So that's 6-5.
5.
They go to Philly.
6-6.
They go to Green Bay.
6-7.
They have Cleveland at home.
7-7.
They host the Packers.
7-8.
They go to San Francisco.
7. See, now you're 8-9 at best you can be is 8-9, Matt.
And then they have the Lions at home in the last week of the year.
Pretty tough to be 7-10 and get in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I don't know if they'll be 7. I mean, I think they can be 8-9, 9-8. 9-8 is they can. I mean, and I get it. I tend to agree with you, but I think that if they win one of the next two, whether it's at Minnesota,
they're not going to beat the Steelers.
Did you watch Aaron Rodgers last night? He didn't look too good.
I did.
But the Bears defense, but that back-to-back games going Eagles on a Friday night and then a Sunday at the Packers. I don't think, can they beat the Packers one time? I think they could. Maybe. So anyways, let's go 9-8. That's the thing is I think the layups are done when it comes to the Bears, and the layups weren't convincing. And let me explain. The Lions played a bad Washington team and beat them by 3 touchdowns. The Bears played a bad Washington team and beat them by a point. Now, mind you, they had Jaden Daniels and all that kind of stuff, so you can't compare all those. But I think it's just the eyeball test right now with the Bears. They're winning games. God bless them. I'm not being a hater. They're 6-3. Keep loving it. Keep enjoying it. Talk with us on the chat if you're cranky about it. I understand. But I think they're making steps in the right direction. With that being said, that right direction's probably next year.
Next year.
They're taking full advantage of a 4th place schedule.
Absolutely. And I agree. And can I take one more complaint? Or Maddie, when did the world decide that college football and professional football NFL was played on Friday night, that I get to Thursday night? When did college football decide that we're going to play at 2:30, 4:30, 6:30, 8:30 on a Friday, Thursday, Wednesday? Whatever happened Saturday afternoon, 11-2. And if you got the 2:30 game, you were elite. It was elite. Come on.
I'm the same
Stop
way.
all this crap.
I'm the same way you are, where I like it being when it is. I go back to the college stuff with basketball, Johnny. I like the Iowa Hawkeyes being on Wednesday at 7 p.m. and on Saturday night at 7 p.m. That's how I grew up. It's like that's when they're playing. But hey, you know why it is? It's because of TV and money and all that kind of stuff.
And I get it.
Yep.
But it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I get you.
And I've dealt with it. So.
All right, so we'll put another poll up. Are the Bears a playoff team? We'll put that up. Go to my social media at Matt Randazzo. We'll put up a couple different polls right now and see what people think of. Bears are a playoff team, yes or no? It's very simple.
Simple.
Let's go with a little high school. Geneseo's back in the quarterfinals. Bobby Field's going to host a quarterfinal game against Morse. They looked really good against Macomb. I love everything that Matt Furlong and his staff is doing at Geneseo. We've had a pair of their kids on the show with Jackson McAvoy and Kai Weinzerl. Great kids. I'm really enjoying what Geneseo football is doing, and you got to feel the same way.
Absolutely. And it's back to being, hey, we're just going to punch you in the face. And I know, please, it's bad, really, really bad analogy. We're going to punch you in the face. And if you punch us back, one of us is still going to be standing. And right now, through all this, it's been Geneseo, and I love it. They play football the right way, always have. Coach Furlong, phenomenal, phenomenal coach, phenomenal person. Love the fact that what they do, back to being basic football and just, again, punch you in the face. Now, if you punch Morse, they're going to punch you back. And they have 1,000 offensive weapons to punch you back with. I'm not making a prediction. It will be, hey, come on, we're in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
I've been there. It never gets any easier. But what a great Bob Reed Field, the stands will be full, both sides. if the Morris fans will be lucky to get about 3 seats on the visiting side, because those amazing Geneseo fans, and there'll be 8, probably 7 deep along the fence line.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you wanted to take over, if you were coming in and looked from above and wanted to take over the city of Geneseo, Saturday would be the perfect time.
Yeah.
Because everybody, it's like a Friday night in Geneseo. All those great fans are going to be at Bob Reed Field. Love the fact that they run the football. They have weapons. They're good up front. But now, with all due respect to Geneseo, you're going to get punched really, really hard right back in the face, which is okay. Yeah. And that's their brand of football. You want to, if I'm Geneseo, I want to limit the number of possessions that Morris, that explosive, what they have, 60? They scored 70 the other day. 60, man, I think 60. You want to limit the number of possessions and watch a couple things. Watch some video or some huddle of Geneseo. Again, if you can keep that in the 21, 13, 14, not let it get to 35 on either side. If you don't want to play touchdown back and forth with Morris, Geneseo gets to the Elite 8. So cannot be more happy, more proud of the way, because they play the game the right way there. Yep. And they teach fundamentals as well as anybody. So hats off to them. I'm excited.
It was cool to see in 3A Monmouth Roseville go to Bloomington Central Catholic.
Yes.
Nobody thought they were going to win that game. I did. I picked them, but I don't want to brag. Mitch and Greg and Ty Taylor, they all picked against them. But I picked Jeremy Adolphson and the boys, and we'll have Jeremy on the show probably tomorrow or Wednesday as well. But they go down there, they get that big victory. They go to Richmond Burton now. Anawan Wethersfield, not trying to brag about the show, but Tony Grip was on the show on Friday, and then they go and
a dude.
They win. He's a great dude, and they win once again. So happy for those two schools. Other schools losing in the area. Feel bad for Moline. I thought this was the year they'd get to the quarterfinal and host a quarterfinal. I think they eventually get over the hump, but didn't happen this week. And then also surprised with Rock Ridge. But Johnny, and I had a few people complaining about it, and I get it. I always used to complain about it. It is the system that it is, but it is weird for number one ranked teams to go on the road to other good schools in the second round and have to play a football game. I think that's weird, but it's just the way things have been forever with the IHSA.
You're preaching to the choir here, pal, about having to go on the road week 2 after getting a home game for 25 years. So I know what you mean. And they still had a chance moving the football at the end. Yes, Tri-Valley, I give you nothing but great props. But I thought this was the football team for Rock Ridge that would get over that get back to the state championship game. So again, take nothing away. But you're right about scheduling where they went on the road. Come on, pay them a little due if you're the number one seed and you're the number one ranked team in the state. Again, I'm not going to get in a big argument with the IHSA because I've been doing that for 25 years. So I get hats off to them, and hats off. I love Coach Grip and what they do out there. They're unbeaten. Jeremy and his club only lost to Rock Ridge. And then give Mike and his Coach Morrissey and his staff and those kids a great deal of credit. 7A is awfully tough. I understand the size of Moline, but they still buckled up. They went and played, and it surprised me that they didn't get the ball in the hole first couple of times that they had it, but they held on, played good defense, and that hump, Maddie, they're going to get over it. And I know it's one thing that's something you and I and Coach Welch and everybody else that knows Coach Morrissey always. That's one jab you always get in at the end. Hey, Coach, we appreciate everything, but they will. And I am a huge Mike Morrissey fan, huge fan of his staff. So give them, be patient. It's going to get there. And when they do, they won't just get over the hump. They'll continue to climb that mountain. And if I know Richards is always waiting there. I mean, come on. That's the premier 7A. So it'll be okay, Moline. Congratulations. Great job, Coach Morrissey. Great job, young men.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the silver lining is I get my joke at the at the banquet next year about like the quarterfinals and all that kind of stuff. But I hope to retire that joke here soon, and maybe next year is the year for Moline. They return a ton of talent. They lose some really good guys and some dudes, but that's a young, talented football team and football program. I think they'll do good things. And we just talked to Coach Hetzler last segment, but Wilton going to the Dome. I love the fact that we have and there's not a lot of people going to the Dome these days. So for Wilton to go back to back shows how hard it is, and for them to get there back to back years is really cool. So wish them the best of luck as well. Johnny,
and Regina.
Yeah, and Regina heading to the again as always. It's
they've been three. No, they haven't been in 5 years since Jack won.
Really? They haven't been up there since then?
They lost in the quarterfinals the last 3 years. Again, folks, during COVID, my son played at Iowa City Regina when Illinois didn't have football in the fall, and we had to play it in the spring, and won a state championship with that group, and was taught how to be a football player by Marv Cook and Jason Dumont and Ed Hinkle. So three best guys in the game. So sorry, I don't mean to go over it, but they haven't won a championship since 2020. Haven't. They only won 8 under Marvin, and good for them.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Johnny, I appreciate you as always. We'll sit back and watch another great week of sports, and we'll do this again next Monday. Thanks, pal.
Love you.
All right. That is John Marx joining us every Monday right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, a little Marxy Monday, kind of little sports talk segment about everything. So chime in. We love your feedback, all those kind of things. Are the Bears a playoff team? Yes or no? And then also up on the Twitter sphere, or whatever it is, X now, who's the best of these 3 college football teams as of today? Iowa, Illinois, Iowa State. All have good reasons to be, and all have good reasons not to be. So we'd love to get your feedback as well. We got more to get to. We'll wrap things up right after this. You're watching OTA on a Monday right here in the Quad Cities. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need mobile party experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile party experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. Excuse me, not a Thursday, a Monday here in the Quad Cities. Boy, I wish it was Thursday. That'd be a lot of fun. Anyways, it's been a fun show so far. Our good friend Pat Anger joined us to start the show like he does every Monday, kind of going through the Oregon-Iowa loss and then obviously moving on to USC. We have a couple cool poll questions on my social media at Matt Randazzo. As of right now, as of today, who's the better football team? Iowa, Illinois, or Iowa State? Simple question. As of today, which is the best team? Not best program overall, all that kind of stuff, future. Today, if we had a round-robin tournament between the 3 schools, which team is the best team? Also, another poll question. Are the Bears a playoff team? If the playoffs started today, or I shouldn't say that, when the playoffs do start, will the Bears be one of the 7 NFC teams in the postseason? Simple question, yes or no. Weigh in, give your feedback, all of those kind of things as well. So Pat Anger was on. We also talked to a trio of state champions from the Assumption Volleyball team. Congratulations once again to them. The Knights, your 3A state champions, and the future's pretty bright. A lot of young players in that program, so look for Assumption to make some noise over the next several years as well. One team from our area heading to the Unidome next weekend. It is Wilton. Wilton knocked off number 2 this past weekend. They'll now get number 1, Kemper Catholic, coming up next weekend at the Unidome. Ryan Hetzler was nice enough to join us once again earlier in the show, so go check that out. Beaver Nation, you have plenty to be proud of course. They went to the Dome for the first time in school history last year, and they enjoyed it so much. They're doing it again, and they had to replace 18 seniors from last year. So very impressive of Coach Hetzler, his staff, that community, everything that goes on out there. So check that out as well. And then we had our Marxy Monday, talked about a bunch of things. We talked college football, the NFL. We didn't talk much about Dan Campbell taking over the play calls for my beloved Detroit Lions, but they played well, which made me happy, although they wasted my weekend last weekend up in Detroit. Anyways, so NFL talk there, and then we talked IHSA, the local teams on our side, Geneseo, Monmouth, Roseville, Anawan, Wethersfield, all moving on to the quarterfinals. We'll talk with someone from those schools each day this week. I'm hoping to have Jeremy Adolphson on the show tomorrow, so that's kind of the plan as we keep moving forward this week. It's been a fun show. We appreciate you guys watching us. We'll have a lot more coming up tomorrow and throughout the week as we continue to rock and roll. November is here. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, I didn't realize it till over the weekend talking with Chris Hassel, but it was a year ago Saturday that I did my last sportscast at WQAD. So to sit here a year later and have people watching this up in my loft and getting the opportunity with the Hawkeye Radio Network and those kind of things have been pretty cool. So a thank you to everyone over the last year that has made a crazy decision, a pretty good one on my end as well. So thanks so much for watching Off the Air on a Monday here in the Quad Cities. We'll be back for more coming up tomorrow. Have a great day.